Alrighty, and we are live. What's everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of Bang the Booth Podcast. Gonna get everything set up and we'll be ready to go. Hope everyone's day's going well, week's going well, weekend going well. There was an episode yesterday. Everything's okay. Ended up last minute actually going to Island Ducks game where Trevor Bauer is starting, so that's why it wasn't yesterday. Actually pitched pretty good, gave up like 2 mistakes, but otherwise 15 strikeouts, which is a single game high for the Ducks history. The Ducks won that game 6-3, but no trouble, just was that. So that's why today's episode is today, not yesterday. All right, let's get right into it. So, what's up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of Bang the Booth Podcasting on Smart Sports. At this point, I very much appreciate it. Let's dive into it. So, today's Immaculate grid: Angels, Mariners, born outside the U.S. 50 states and D.C., Dodgers, Royals, and 300-plus average season. Dodgers, Angels, Tony Watson played for both. 0.1%, I will take that. Dodgers, Mariners. Dylan Floro played for both. Or I thought he played for both. Never mind. Dodgers, Mariners. Oh, well, technically Edwin Diaz, but I imagine that's going to be a higher up answer. Dodgers, Mariners. Adrian Beltre would fit, but I imagine, again, he'll probably be a higher answer. Dodgers, Mariners. Dodgers, Mariners. No, neither of them played for the other. Dodgers, Mariners. I'm going to come back to it. Royals, Angels. My tripping or Alcides Escobar play for... No, I'm tripping. Bencourt, though, did play for both. Yeah. I'll put Alcides Escobar here. 4%. Okay. Dodgers, born outside the U.S. 50 states and D.C. Random reliever from the 2010s. Ronald Belisario, 0.10%. We'll take that. Royals, Angels. Oh. Might be a higher answer, but this guy came to mind. 5%, I will very much take that. Not be mad at that. Angels 300-plus average season. Is there anyone of the 2002 Angels that could have gotten it? Garrett Anderson? Yes, 6%. I'll take that. Mariners. Brett Boone by chance? Yes. 4%. I'll take that. Total rate scored 221. I'm still going to keep going. 300 average. and born outside the 50 states in DC. Let's see if Beltre would fit here. He would 0.7%. I will take that. And then Dodgers Mariners. So now I'm back to square one. To square one, two. Dodgers Mariners. Nelson Cruz doesn't fit because he didn't play for the Dodgers. Adam Jones, no. Andrew Jones, no. Wanya Rebay, no. I'm just like trying to throw out random names and trying to see if they would fit, honestly. Muncie, no. Oh! Chris Taylor. 4%, I will take that. So total rarity scores 221. There we go. Top category answers for each category, which I did not get any of the top answers. Dodgers Angels 32% Shohei Ohtani. Dodgers Mariners 23% is Adrian Beltre. Dodgers born inside the 50 states, U.S. 50 states in D.C. at 12% is Fernando Valenzuela. Not necessarily I would have expected for that, but I guess fair enough. Royals Angels at 16% is Zach Greinke. I forgot he played for the Angels. Holy cow. Royals Mariners at 16% is Carlos Santana. Royal born outside the U.S. 50 states in D.C. at 35% is Salvador Perez. Angels 300 plus average season at 40% is Mike Trout, and Mariners 300 plus average season, and also for 300 plus average season and born outside the U.S. 50 states and D.C. at 26 and 12% respectively is Ichiro Suzuki. Now for Walkoff going to be doing the Reds and the Nationals because they're playing each other the last few days. Categories will be the same, but the players will tend to vary. The theme is 188 home run. And it's 1990s top 8, 2000s top 8, 2010s top 8, and 2020s top 8 in home runs. Player options, Ed Taubin, Benzie, Sean Casey, Reggie Sanders, Aaron Boone, TJ Friedel, Ken Griffey Jr., Spencer Steer, Eugenio Suarez, Nick Castellanos, Joe Oliver, Zach Cozart, Adam Duvall. So Steer, Friedel, and Castellanos are going to be 2020s. Suarez, Cozart, Duvall will be 2010s. This actually, I think, might be a full walk-off homer. And indeed, it is a full walk-off homer. So, full correct answers for the Reds. 1990s top 8 in home runs. Ed Taubin, Joe Oliver, Reggie Sanders. 2000s top 10 and top 8 in homers. Aaron Boone, Sean Casey, Ken Griffey Jr. 2010s top 8 in homers. Zach Cozart, Eugenio Suarez, and Adam Duvall. And then 2020s top 8 in home runs. Spencer Steele, TJ Friedel, Spirit, TJ Friedel, and Nick Castellanos. And then for the Nationals, same categories, just different players. In 90s and early parts of the 2000s would mean Expos days. Luis Garcia Jr., Darren Fletcher, Nick Johnson, Ryan Zimmerman, Brad Wilkerson, Moises Alou, Marquise Grissom, Juan Soto, James Wood, Danny Espinosa, Ian Desmond, and Jason Worth. Garcia, Wood, and Soto, I think, are going to be 2020s. Desmond, Espinosa, and Worth are going to be 2010s. 2000s is going to be Ryan Zimmerman, Wilkerson. I think this actually is going to also be. And how about that? Both walk-off homers. So, both correct answers for the Nationals. 1990s top 8 in home runs, Marquise Grissom, Darren Fletcher, Moises Alou. Telling 2000 top 8 in homers, top 8, not top 10. Brian Zimmerman, Brad Wilkerson, Nick Johnson. 2010s top 8 in home runs, Jason Worth, Danny Espinosa, Ian Desmond. And 2020s top 8 in homers, Luis Garcia Jr., James Wood, and Juan Soto. And for a Statpad game, the overall category is hits, Target score 351, and the categories are 2022 NL West, 2015 to 2025 infielder for the Mariners, 2026 in the National League, 2020 to 2025 infield for the Tigers, and 2010's NL West. 2022 NL West. So the Astros and the Mariners made the playoffs this year. Julio Rodriguez would probably be up there. Jeremy Pena had a pretty good rookie year. Jordan Alvarez is probably going to be up there. Not sure if Altuve was been good enough in that time. And Trout wasn't really healthy. The Rangers were a year before the World Series winning year. I'm gonna go Julio. If that's not the top answer, so be it. But if I can at least get top 90%, top 94, I will take that. Nathaniel Lowe, I would not have even thought of that. I would have thought Marcus Semien before Nathaniel Lowe, and I forgot about Shohei Ohtani. But you know what? I'm not mad at 94 percentile, so I will take it. 145 hits. 2015 to 2025 infield for Mariners. Kyle Seager would fit. Honestly, it's probably going to be Kyle Seager for the top answer. Or is it going to be Robinson and Cano? Could be Cano. I don't think J.B. Crawford's going to have a crazy amount. It's either Kyle Seager or Robinson Cano. I feel like I can't go wrong either or. I'm going to stick to my gun and say Seager. 96, I will take that. And oddly enough, Cano was the top two answers. You know what? I'm still not mad at that. I will take that. 166. 2026 in the NL current hits. Nico Horner, I know, is having like a pretty good year. Any chance he would be up there? I will take that 95. Otto Lopez, of all people. Not what I would have expected, but you know what? Good for him. But I'm not mad at that. Okay, 2020 to 2025 infield for the Tigers. I doubt it's going to be Baez because anyways, really, it was mostly center outfield last year. Maggie was infield for a few years, but I'm not sure if he was that good. That would be top tier hits for infielder in the 2020s. Yeah, the Castros, Willie Castro. I'm not sure though if he would have really had a season that would be top tier hitting hits. Jamer was there, but I'm not sure if he would have done it either. Torkelson's had some pretty good years. Would have been hits leading worthy? That's the question. Definitely not that. Yeah, I'm randomly came in my head. I'm going to come back to it. 2010, they didn't make the playoffs this season, but he was like, because 2011 was his first year, the Red Sox. 98, I will take that. And Carter, someone I didn't even consider top answer. I will very much take that. We've definitely been the target score of 351, so we're at 532. So 2020 to 2025. I'm going to risk the biscuit and say Torkelson because I'm honestly not sure if anyone else is going to have higher. And he's top 97. I will take that. Jonathan Scope. Really? Candelario, okay. Jonathan Scope from 2021. I did not see that coming. Sometimes this game blows my mind with the top answers, but you know what? Touche. Jonathan Scope of all people. Gleyber Torres, okay. I mean, he was pretty good last year, fair enough. Torkelson's twice on here, 2023 and 2025. Huh. And Jamer Candelario, yeah, fair enough. And Jonathan Scope. Like, I'm curious to see how many people guess Jonathan Scope. I mean, there's also people probably guess players in just wrong years, but like, who guessed I'm curious to know if anyone actually guessed Jonathan Scope. Like, the dude's more known for Orioles than Tigers, if anything. I mean, I know he played for the Tigers, but like I wouldn't have thought like leader in that category. I mean, most of these other leaders, like, Nathaniel Lowe definitely caught me off guard. Robinson Cano makes sense. I don't know a little bit. Well, I guess they actually mostly threw me off guard today. Cargo, like, if I really thought about it, could have made sense, but I didn't really think that deeply because I just kind of more think of like teams that make playoffs versus not as much of the teams that don't. And Rockies did not make the playoffs in 2010 for context. Kelly Johnson, I did not. Well, I mean, like, he would not much of a career. Aubrey Huff, the Giants leader for hits in 2010, and that dude barely did anything for the Giants in the playoffs. Wow, I would not have seen that. Chase Headley, yeah, that makes sense. Fair enough. Being second, that makes sense. I mean, Padres were pretty much not much relevant in this era anyways. But yeah, some of those top answers surprised me. And some of those answers around the top answers surprised me. But not completely surprising. But yeah, that's the weekly games. But yeah, if you missed it, the episode didn't happen yesterday just because I was at the Long Island Ducks game. Went to see Trevor Bauer pitch. Overall, pitched a great game. Win 8 innings, which, like, I was kind of like, going 8 innings when your score is 8-6 to 5-3 is kind of crazy. Then the 8th inning, he got to 15 strikeouts, which is a Ducks single game record, which I'm like, that explains it. Because I forget, I'm pretty sure it was some point in Mexico, he had a game where, like, he was, like, right near the single game strikeout record. He's like, you are letting me getting it, and you're not taking me out. And he went on to break the record. So that, like, okay, I was like, okay, fair enough. That probably explains why he kept going. Because otherwise, why would he push a guy in the 8th inning in a 5-3 ball game? 5-3, not 5-0 or 5-1 or like 5-3 in the 8th inning. He didn't pitch 9th, by the way. Got taken out after the 8th. But I was just like, that is kind of crazy. But then that record happened, I'm like, nah, that makes more sense. He gave up 2 first pitch homers for the first two of the runs that he gave up. And then the other one was on miscommunication on a blooper, eventually a steal, and then a drop strike 3 wild pitch scoring run for that. I forget if he started at second or started at third, but either way, came across, score made at 5-3. And you know how the catcher made up for that error? He hit a home run within an inning or two after that. It's like, oh, well, he got the run back himself. Made up for that error big time. There was also early on in the game where, like, they were playing the Ghost Peppers from somewhere in North Carolina, and like a ball was hit to left field. Left fielder dove for it and just got past and led to a triple. The runner ended up scoring. Like, it was just like, well, he made that mistake, and he ended up having some moments later in the game. Also, another former MLB player. You might not know of him, but another former MLB player they do have on their roster is Wilmer Defoe. If you know who that is, well, kudos to you. But if you don't, I don't necessarily blame you because he's like a random player. Like, I only know for random things from his time in MLB. He was mostly with the Nationals. You know what? While I'm at it, I'll even let me pull up the Wikipedia page. Wilmer Defoe. Here. This is his Wikipedia page. So yeah, like, not really much of an MLB career. Nationals from 15 to 20, 2021 with Pirates, 2022 with the Diamondbacks. And then a few minor league deals here and there. Ended up in Mexico even for a short bit. And then signed from Long Island Ducks recently. But yeah, former MLB player Wilmer Defoe also on the Ducks, along with Trevor Bauer. All right, let's dive into the MLB Weekly Recap. So going back, starting from May 6th. Excuse me again. Rays beat the Blue Jays 3-0, marks 13 straight games, allowing 3 runs or less in a single season, which is tied for second most in wild card era. The 2010 Giants, 18. and tied with 2022 Astros, 2014 Mariners, 2013 Royals, and 2002 Diamondbacks. The streak ended the next day. If I remember, I think it might have been, yeah, and at 8-3. Or no, not the next day. It was 8-3. But ended at some point recently. Brewers beat the Cardinals 6-2. Jackson Trio's 2-hit game and 4 hits on Tuesday. The last 2 games they did not play on Wednesday, or he didn't play on Wednesday. One or the other. I think I don't know. Marks 6 hits in the first 2 games of the season, which is the second most in Brewers history, behind Cecil Cooper 7 in his first 2 games of 1982. First 2 for Jackson Trio. Yeah, I don't think he played either. They didn't play Wednesday or he didn't play Wednesday, something like that. Dodgers beat the Astros 12-2. Andy Pai's 3-homer game, along with Max Muncy's 3-homer game earlier this season, makes the Dodgers an 8 team with 2 individual 3+ homer games within the first 37 games of the season, joining the 2020 Braves, 2018 Red Sox, 2004 Diamondbacks, and 2001 Blue Jays, and Brewers, 1971 Pirates, and 1930 New York Yankees. Dalton Rushing scoring on a wild pitch in the second, and Alex Vreeland and Shohei Ohtani scoring on wild pitches in the third, and being the first 3 runs of the game for the Dodgers, make the Dodgers the first team to score its first 3 runs of the game. All via wild pitch since August 14th, 1969. Phillies at the Atlanta Braves in a 6-0 win. Yordan Alvarez strikeout looking the versus Tyler Glasnow's 1,000th career strikeout in 793 innings pitched, which is the fewest innings pitched to 1,000 strikeouts for a starting pitcher, minimum 50% of appearances at the time, less than Freddie Peralta's 804 2/3, Robbie Ray's 810, Yu Darvish 812, Blake Snell 820 2/3, and Dylan Cease 830 1/3. Angels beat the White Sox 8-2. Jorge Soler's hit by a pitch and Joe Adell hit by a pitch in the 4th, and Sam Antonacci's hit by a pitch in the 7th. Mark makes this game the first game since 1956 where 3 batters were hit by a pitch with the bases loaded in the same game. Rangers beat the A's 6-3. Nick Kurt's RBI single in the 5th marks a 30-game on-base streak, which is tied for the 4th longest such streak in A's history since 2000, behind Nick Swisher's 36, Mark Ellis 32, and Rubio Durazo's and Eric Chavez 31, and tied with 2018 Matt Chapman. He ended up getting to 36, so he's broken the A's record. Or there might be another record, I think, that I kept track on here at some point, so when I get to that, I'll get to that. Rangers beat the Yankees 6-1. Aaron Judge, a solo home run in the 6th. It's his 15th in the first 37 games of the season, which is tied for 3rd most in the Yankees' first 37 games of the season, behind Mickey Mantle's 17 in 1926 and 28, Babe Ruth 16, and tied with 2007 Alex Rodriguez and 1930 Babe Ruth. Cubs beat the Reds 7-6 in 10 innings. Michael Busch walk-off walk in the 10th makes the Cubs the first team with 3 straight walk-off wins since June 2024. Miami Marlins. Last time for the Cubs was June 18th of 2009. Also marks 14-game win streak at Wrigley Field /home, which is tied for the second longest such streak for the Cubs since 1900, behind 1935-18, and tied with 2008, 1936, 1932, 1928, 1910, and 1906. They end up also marks 4th, getting it to 15, and haven't had home games since the 15 one. Also marks the 4th instance of the Cubs winning 3 games against the same opponent, all by walk-offs, joining September 27th to 28th, 1943 New York Giants, August 28th to 31st, 1932 New York Giants, and August 16th to the 18th, 1932 Boston Braves. That's it for May 6th. May 7th, Cubs won 8-3, which marked a 9-game win streak. They end up getting it to 10, which is for 9, marking them the 7th team in MLB history with multiple win streaks of 9+ games within the first 30 games of the season, joining the 1955 Brooklyn Dodgers, 1941 St. Louis Cardinals, 1918 and 12 New York Giants, 3 times for 1912, 1887 St. Louis Browns / Baltimore Orioles, and 1800 Chicago Cubs, or as they were called at the time, the White Stockings. The 15 straight wins at home, which is the second most in Cubs history, by 1935, and passing the ones they were tied with previously. That's the Nick Kurtz. No, that doesn't have anything. And Rays beat the Red Sox 8-3. Red Sox 2 stolen bases in the game, marks 3 straight games with multiple stolen bases, the first time since April 30th to May 2nd, 2025. Haven't done it in 4 straight since September of 2012. That's it for May 7th. For May 8th. Give me a moment here. Rockies beat the Phillies 9-7 in 11 innings. Schwarber solo home run of the 6th is his 200th with the Phillies in 666 games, which is the 4th least games since 200 homers with the franchise in MLB history, behind Mark McGwire with the Cardinals 489, Babe Ruth, the Yankees 586, and Ryan Howard's 658 with the Phillies, and ahead of Aaron Judge 671 with the Yankees, Ralph Kiner 706 with the Pirates, and Pete Alonso's 710 with the Mets. No, that's just the. Oh yeah, Mariners beat the White Sox 12-8. Munetaka Murakami solo run in the first marks a homer in the first game of each of the last 8 series. He's the first to do so, passing 97 and 87 Eddie Murray 7 for previous most in MLB history, and is his 15th this season, which is tied for second most in the homers in the first 38 career MLB games in MLB history, behind 2017 Rhys Hoskins 18, and tied with 2018-19 Aristides Aquino, 1986 Wally Joyner, and 1930 Wally Berger. Cubs beat the Rangers 7-1, which marked a 10-game win streak for the second time this season, making them the 5th team in MLB history with multiple win streaks of 10-plus games before the 40th game of the season, joining 1955 Brooklyn Dodgers, 1941 St. Louis Cardinals, 1887 St. Louis Browns, and 1880 Chicago Cubs, or as they were known at the time, the White Stockings. Also, the 7th time to do so in Cubs history, joining 1935, 1910, 1906 4 times, 1886, 1885, and 1880. Also, the 6th team with a gap of 3 or less games between 2 10-plus game win streaks within a season, joining 1897 Baltimore Orioles, 1987. I have a feeling that's supposed to be. Oh no, 1897 Baltimore Orioles, 1978 Pittsburgh Pirates, 1880 Chicago Cubs, 1955 Brooklyn Dodgers, and 1906 Chicago Cubs, 2 times who won 11 straight, lost 1, then 14 straight, lost 1, then 12 straight. And that's it for April 8th. For April 9th. That's just when he got it to 33, it was tied for 4th longest since 1986, behind Mark McGwire's 1996 48, and 1997-98 Jason Giambi's 39, and 2006 Nick Swisher's 36, and then tied with 1998 and Grieve. Reds beat the Astros 3-1. Tyler Soderstrom's 14-pitch pop out versus Shane Boston III is tied for the most pitches in a play appearance in MLB since in this year. Twins beat the Guardians 2-1 in 11 innings. Twins win in 11 with 2 hits, 23rd time since 1900 with a team with won a game of 10 or more innings with 2 or less hits. Second in Minnesota Twins / Washington Senators history, with May 14th, 1914, 4th of the 4 of the 23 to be 11 innings at least, joining October 2nd, 1977 Toronto Blue Jays, also versus Cleveland, June 14th, 1965 New York Mets, and May 26th, 1959 Milwaukee Braves. Diamondbacks beat the Mets 2-1. Clay Holmes 200 runs marks that he's allowed 2 runs or less in all the 8 starts this season. That's the longest such streak by a starter season in Mets history, behind breaking a tie of 2009 Johan Santana and 1971 Nolan Ryan. Hold on 1 minute. Okay. Padres beat the Cardinals 4-2. Mason Miller 4 strikeouts in the 9th, makes him the first Padres pitcher to do so since his current manager Craig Stammen on September 24th, 2021. That's it for May 9th. For May 10th, Phillies beat the Rockies 6-0. Schwarber solo run on the second is his 16th this season and second of the game, making him the 6th player in Phillies history with 2 homers through the first 2 innings of the game, joining September 17th, 2020 Bryce Harper, April 12th, 2007 Jimmy Rollins, July 7th, 1986 Terry Reedus, June 11th, 1985 Vaughn Hayes, both homers in the first inning in his case. And June 1928, Freddie Leach, the 16 home runs through first 41 games this season, is tied for the third most in Phillies history in the first 41 games of the season, behind 1923 Ty Williams 23 and 2009 Raul Ibanez 17, and tied with 1980 Mike Schmidt. He ended up passing Ibanez and Schmidt, or tying Ibanez and Schmidt for most in 42 games as he got to 17. Brewers beat the Yankees 4-3. Aaron Judge's home run in the first is his 16th this season in 41 games, which is tied for fourth most in the Yankees history for the first 41 games of the season, behind Mickey Mantle's 20 in 1956, 1928 and 1930 Babe Ruth's 18 and 17, and tied with 2007 Alex Rodriguez, 1997 Tino Martinez, and 1926 Babe Ruth. Rangers beat the Cubs 8-3 to nothing. Seiya Suzuki strikeout swinging in the first is Jacob deGrom's 1900th career strikeout in 256 career games, which is second fewest to 1900 career strikeouts behind Randy Johnson, 252. Sorry. Jacob deGrom's 0 run runs, 0 walks, and 10 strikeouts marks his 7th scoreless outing with 10 plus strikeouts and 0 walks in his career, which is tied for fourth most since 1900 behind Randy Johnson's 11, Clayton Kershaw and Chris Sale 9, and Pedro Martinez 8, and tied with Max Scherzer. The Giants beat the Pirates 7-6 in 12 innings. Oneil Cruz home run in the 5th marks 10 homers and 15 stolen bases in the first 40 games of the season, making him the third player with 10 plus homers and 15 plus stolen bases before playing their 40th game of the season, joining 1987 Eric Davis and 1967 Lou Brock. That's it for May 10th. For May 11th, Orioles beat the Yankees 3-2. Brandon Rice's two-run homer in the third is his 13th on the season, making him and Aaron Judge the first pair of Yankees teammates with 13 plus homers in each of the team's first 42 games of the season. That's it for May 11th. For May 12th, Phillies beat the Red Sox 2-1. Schwarber stole home run in the first. No, that's just the extent of the streak. It marks 5 straight games with the homer, tied for the longest streak in Phillies history with 2020-23 Trey Turner. Mets beat the Tigers 10-2. AJ Ewing's RBI triple in the 7th is his first major league hit and RBI. His 3 walks, 2 RBIs, and stolen base makes him the 19th player with multiple walks and a stolen base in his major league debut since 1898. First to do so was Carson Benj earlier. Ignore that. Also makes him 13th player with a triple and a stolen base in his major league debut since 1898, 4th since 1986, joining August 2nd, 2019, Travis Demeritte, September 1st, 2005, Bernie Castro, and September 17th, 2000, Jimmy Rollins. He's also the first player with 3 plus walks and a stolen base in his major league debut since 1898. He's also 17th player since 1900 with 3 plus walks in his major league debut. All of the last 16, none had a triple, stolen base, or multiple RBIs, and he did all 3 on top of his 3 walks. Twins beat the Marlins 3-0. Immediately over his complete game shutout on 89 pitches, makes him the 6th pitcher with 9 inning complete game under 90 pitches in Twins history since 1988. Joining June 22nd, 2024, Bailey over himself in 89 pitches. May 20th, 2005, Carlos Silva's 74. October 2nd, 1992, John Smiley, 80. April 17th, 1992, Mark Bull Kruger's 85, which was also a complete game shutout. And September 26th, 1989, Ricky Aguilar's 88. And Giants beat the Dodgers 6-2. Eric Haas's 2-homer game marks the 4th multi-homer game versus the Dodgers while playing catcher in New York/San Francisco Giants history, joining September 22nd, 1987, Bob Melvin, June 27th, 1964, Tom Haller, and September 6th, 1947, Walker Cooper. Haas is the only one to do it on the road. Dodgers have now lost 4 straight games, all by 4 plus runs. The first time they've done so since July of 1936, tied for the franchise's longest single season such streak since 1890. Between 1936 stretch, by the 1936 stretch, and now every other team between the 1936 stretch and now, every other team had at least 4 such streaks of 4 plus games. And that's it for the notes part. For standings update, now including today's games. In the AL East, Rays in first place at 20-13, followed by the 27-16 Yankees, followed by the 19-24 Orioles followed by the 18-24 Blue Jays, followed by the 17-24 Red Sox. In the AL Central, going to first place at 23-21, followed by the 20-21 White Sox, followed by the 19-23 Twins, Royals, and Tigers. In the AL West, at the A's in first place at 21-20, followed by the 21-22 Mariners, followed by the 20-22 Rangers, followed by the 16-27 Angels and Astros. In the NL East, the Braves in first place at 29-13, followed by the 20-22 Phillies, followed by the 20-22 Nationals, followed by the 19-23 Marlins, followed by the 16-25 Mets. In the NL Central, the Cubs in first place is 27-15, followed by the 23-16 Brewers, followed by the 24-17 Cardinals, followed by the 23-19 Pirates, followed by the 22-20 Reds. And in the NL West, the Padres in first place is 24-17, followed by the 24-18 Dodgers, followed by the 20-21 Diamondbacks, followed by the 18-24 Giants, followed by the 16-24 Rockies. And that's it for the standings update. And as for today's games that have either gone final or currently going on, haven't started yet. For the games that have gone final, the Orioles beat the Yankees 7-0, and the Guardians beat the Angels 4-2. As for the games that have not started yet, Diamondbacks at Rangers 8-05, Ryan Nelson against Kumar Rocker, and Mariners at Astros 8-10, Bryce Miller against Lance McCullers Jr., Cardinals at A's at 9:40, Matthew Liberatore against JT Ginn, I believe that is, yes. And Giants at Dodgers 10-10, Bobby Ray against Shohei Ohtani. As for the games currently going on, Phillies and Red Sox tied at 1, bottom 4. Rays and Blue Jays scoreless, bottom 3. Reds leading the Nationals 5-4, top 3. Pirates leading the Rockies 2-0 through 2. Tigers leading Mets 2-0, bottom 2. Scoreless in Atlanta between the Braves and the Cubs through 2. Royals and White Sox scoreless through top 1 in Chicago. Marlins and Twins scoreless top of the first in Minnesota, and 0-0 between Padres and Brewers in Milwaukee, top 1. And that's it for this week's episode of the podcast. Thank you for watching and listening. If you're on YouTube, leave a like and subscribe on the video. Show us when I go live and I post a video. If you're new on audio, follow the podcast. Leave a review notification so when I post on there. Thank you so much for watching and listening. I'll see you in next week's episode 213. Bye.